Hey everybody, this is Gregory from Dapp University. So welcome back to this multi-part tutorial where I'm showing you how to create your own cryptocurrency and ICO on the Ethereum blockchain. In this video, we're going to try to finish building out the client-side portion of our decentralized application. This is the token sale website where we allow accounts to purchase our Dapp tokens that we built in the previous videos. So be sure to check out the previous videos in this series if you haven't already, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can see the rest of the videos for this tutorial when they come out. And if you're picking up at this point in the project, you can check out the GitHub link in the description below. So if you're kind of just catching back up, let's go through a couple things. Make sure that you have Ganache running. This is our local blockchain, so Ganache is running. And you also want to make sure that you install your dependencies with npm install. I've already done this, so I'm going to skip this step. And we want to start light server, so we do that with npm run dev. And this kind of picks up on our project where we last left off. We last wired up this account. We laid out our markup for our token sale website, and we actually wired up the account. Now we want to try to fill in the other values and kind of make this whole thing work. So let's get started. We'll go back to our project. This is our app.js file that we were working on. So let's try to fill in some more values. We started building out this render function. This is going to be something that's essentially going to just act as our kind of main function that just renders the entire app. And we created a loader here that we're showing everything for now, but we created a loader that shows that we want to show that if the app is loading asynchronously because of the asynchronous nature of the blockchain, and we want to hide the content if it's loading, and if the content is available and all of it's loaded, we want to show the content and hide the loader. So let's do that first. We'll just say, let's actually do this. We'll go to the content and say style equals display none. All right, so that should show our loader and hide the content. All right, so this is what we want to see like when the content's loading, and when it actually is finished loading, we want to lay out the project. So we'll do that here. Let's do this. Let's first keep track of like the loading state. Now, a couple of you messaged me on the last tutorial, the election decentralized application tutorial, where you saw like some things load twice on the page. It looks kind of funny. That's because we didn't really prevent the double loading error. That's pretty common for a JavaScript project like this, but we'll do that in this tutorial. So I'll show you. If app.loading. We will just return, right? So if the app is loading, we don't want to like double render anything. We'll just like exit this function, and we'll keep track of our loading status here at the top of our project. We'll say loading false. All right. So that's what we'll do. If this is true, we'll skip this step. So we'll set it to true here. True. All right. So basically, if any of this is happening, like if this is an asynchronous call, right, to get the account, we don't want to show any of the content until this is done. So we're going to say, hey, we're loading. Don't show the content yet. And whenever all this is finished down here, we're going to say, stop loading and show the content. And we'll add a whole lot more in between these two things, but this will get us started for now. So we'll basically keep track of, this loader and this content. and we'll say, var loader, loader equals loader, var content, content, just line that up for neatness, loader, content. And first, if this is loading and we're executing this render function, we'll say loader show and content, and hide. All right. And then, when this is done, we're going to, let's actually do this. For now, we'll say done. And we'll do that just like we did up here. Done a function. We're going to move this in a minute, but this will work. And we'll say, loader app.loading is equal to false. And then loader hide. And then content show. So essentially, like after all of our asynchronous processes are done, we want to, tell the app's not loading anymore. We want to hide the loader and show the content. So we'll give this a try, see if we made any errors. All right, it's property done of undefined. So this doesn't actually return a promise. So this doesn't work like I expect. So let's skip this for now. This will work correctly whenever we actually, pull all the data from our contracts. So let's skip this part for the moment, but we will move this back into a promise chain whenever we actually develop our data from the contracts. All right, so that works. So we can refresh. All right, so yeah, so we can see the loader happening for a moment, and then boom, done. Okay, so we've wired up our loader to wait for all the contract data to come in that we have so far. And really, that's not any contract data yet. It's just the account data. So let's go ahead and start, getting some of these values filled in from our smart contracts. This is kind of the exciting meat and potatoes part of the tutorial. So first, what we can do is grab our token sale contract, that we added here. App.contracts.tokensale, and we'll fetch this a lot like we did in the tests. So we'll say app.contracts Dapp token sale. Sorry, should just use tab to completion. Deployed, then function, and say instance. This was a lot like our test, if you recall. We'll say Dapp token sale instance. And then we'll return instance. Let's, sorry, typo. Let's get the price. How about that? All right, so just a quick recap. This looks a lot like our async pattern that we used in the tests, right? Dapp token sale dot deployed, then function instance, and we're assigning the instance here. So a similar pattern that we use in our JavaScript app. So we'll get the token price, and we'll say then function token price, and we'll say app.token price. I'll actually cache this here, and we'll start off by just let's use that default value that we had in our migrations. So if you go to migrations, deploy contracts, this was the token price that we set in the previous videos. So we'll copy this And we'll just add this as the default value for now. But we want to update this from our contract. So app.tokenPrice equals token price. And let's see here. We want to actually show that price in the website. So do that like this. Token price. Oops, token price. Token price. We just want to set the HTML. And we want to say app.tokenPrice. Now, if you remember, we set the token price in Way. But we actually want to show the token price in Ether. All right. So we'll do one thing at a time, but we'll update that here in a second. So let's just see if we can actually put this token price in the DOM. Let's just see. All right, so it didn't seem like it worked. Let's see why. Let's see if we actually got our token price. We can do console log token price. All right, token price. Let's see if we have to call toNumber on this. All right, yeah, so we had to just call toNumber. So that worked, but this looks wrong, right? This is not a bazillion Ether, right? This should be 0.001 Ether. We want to show this amount as 0.001, and this is currently in Way, remember, because that's the unit that we have to use in our smart contracts. Way is the smallest denomination of Ether, and that's how we store prices, et cetera, in our smart contracts. So we want to convert this to something that our user is going to understand. And we can do that with the Web3 library. We do that like this. We say Web3. We have a nice helper called from Way. And we can pass in the price. I'll take this off first. So we can pass in the amount of Way, and we can give it the unit that we want it to convert to. We want to say Ether, right? And we can do that and call toNumber. So what it's going to do is Web3 from Way. It's going to take in the amount of Way, which is the price, and convert it to Ether for us. So we expect this to be like 0.001 when we look at our page. Uh-oh, syntax error. Looks like I'm missing a parenthesis here. All right, let's see. HTML toNumber is not a function. It's because I called it too early. Sorry. So you want this here. All right, boom. It worked. So now the token price, we're actually reading this from the smart contract. Token price is 0.001 Ether, which is what we expect. It's not this big, long bazillion number that we see from, Way. All right. So next, let's actually update. Let's update this loader and this information down here. So let's get the amount of tokens sold. We will return. Return Dapp token sale instance. Token sold. We'll say then function. We'll say token sold. And we'll say app.token sold. toNumber. We'll keep track of that here. Let's start off with 0. Okay. And let's update this value. So we can see we want to find the content, find tokens sold, and tokens available, and we want to actually update this value first, and then we'll update this value next. Okay. So we'll do that like this. Tokens sold. Say HTML. App.tokens sold. Save that, see if it works. All right, boom, we got a number here. Tokens sold, 0 so far, which is what we expect. We haven't bought any yet. And we can do tokens available. And we'll do HTML app.tokens available. Oops. Okay, so I'm actually just gonna let our front end app, tell us how many tokens are available. So we'll say tokens available. So we'll say 500 or 75,000, 750,000, excuse me. So we'll actually put that in our file as well. All right, so we can see that 0 of 750,000 have been sold. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is update our loader. We want to show, this thing here. We want to show some progress. So let's actually, kind of fake the amount of tokens sold first, so we can, show some progress on this loader. Let's just say 500,000. This is just a fake value that I'm going to use to kind of stub this. Oops, sorry. Let's say tokens sold 600,000, right? Go back here. Okay, so that didn't work. Let's see why. 0. Oops, that's because I left off an S here. Tokens sold. Tokens sold. All right. So let's update tokens sold to, this just arbitrary amount for now, just get our loader to work. So yeah, we can see a much higher number here. This is 600,000 of 750,000. So let's work on our loader. So I'm gonna say var progress %. This is going to be, we're gonna round up. And we'll say app.tokens sold. And we'll app.tokens available. So what we're doing is just creating a percentage by dividing the number of tokens that are available. Sorry, the number of tokens sold by the number of tokens available. And we're just gonna round here. And we'll find our loader. This is how we tell our loader what to do. Progress, and we're gonna give it some values based on just CSS width, which is pretty nice. It's pretty easy, pretty magic. So we'll just query for that. Oops. And we'll say your progress. And we'll just say CSS width. Say progress %. We'll give it a percentage. Oops. And again, I'm just going to use a fake value here so that we can see that the loader actually works. All right, so this is not really what I expect. Let's see here. Let's log this to see what's going on. Progress percent is 1. All right, let's see here. I actually did a couple things wrong here. So yeah, let's not round here. Let's instead do this. Take this off. I was trying to figure out a way to get this progress bar to accept a percentage. So let's divide these numbers and then multiply them by 100. And I actually did this wrong. Let's add these together. So we want to get a percentage. You want to divide these numbers and then multiply by 100. I think this will work. And then just apply the styles to this. Say width, progress percent is equal to this width. So let's check out our project. All right, boom, that loader is working. So again, I just use, a fake value here to see if it works. Let's change it to like 50%. So we'll say, roughly 375. Sorry, 75. Could just change this around. All right, so that worked. Now let's actually go set this to our value from our contract. So this should really be 0. But I just wanted to ensure that the loader was working. All right, that didn't work. Let's see, token sold. Can round this. So we actually want to update this to be to number. Try that again. All right, boom. So that worked. 0 out of 750,000 tokens, and we don't see any progress here because we shouldn't have any for 0. All right, so that gives us that part working. I think that should be all of our basic UI functionality. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, let's wire this part up. You currently have X number of tokens. Let's add that here. So we can do that. We can do that like this. We got to load the token contract to check the balance. So we'll, load token contract. And I'll add a comment here just to explain what's going on. This would be load token sale contract. And I'll do app.contracts. Dapp token. Deployed. Sorry. Yeah. Then function. Say instance. And we'll say Dapp token instance. Oops, sorry. Take sale off. Equals instance. Just like we did up here. And then we'll say return Dapp token instance balance of. Remember, this is how we find the balance of an account. And we'll say app.account. And we'll use our promise chain. Balance. And we will update the balance. This is here. You currently have, X number of balance, Dapp balance. And we'll say HTML. The balance to number. See if that worked. All right, it did work. And that's because we are using the account that's connected, the first account in the network, which is used by Ganache, and that's the default account that owns all the tokens whenever we deploy this. And we haven't actually transferred any of these tokens to the sale yet. So what we'll do is add a new account to Ganache really quick. Or sorry, to MetaMask from Ganache. We'll add the second account. Get its private key. And we'll go here. sorry, MetaMask is being stubborn. We'll import an account, the private key. I'm actually going to rename this. We'll call this Ganache2. And I'm going to rename this one as well. Ganache1. Ganache1, go back to Ganache2. Set 100 Ether in the balance. All right, so this is updated. You currently have 0 Dapp tokens, which is what we expect for someone who hasn't, purchased any yet. Remember, this first account is the account that deployed the contract, so they got all million tokens, and we haven't actually transferred those to the token sale yet. So maybe we should do that in migration. We can do that in the next video. But yeah, that shows you, kind of what you've got so far. All right, so the next thing we want to do is go back to our project, and we want to actually move this inside of our promise chain. So we want to really ensure that all this stuff is done whenever we finish. We can say, app.loading here. Okay. And again, this is all the stuff that we want to do whenever all of our asynchronous actions are finished. And this is all the asynchronous activity that's going to be in our render function. And we want to wait for all that's done to, stop loading and hide the loader and show the app. So we'll do that. Refresh the page. See a loading bar, and boom. Once it's done, everything renders out nicely. All right, so the last thing we want to do, I believe, in this app.js file is actually wire up this form. So we want to be able to, go over here and purchase some tokens. So let's do that. Go to app.js, and yeah, let's add a buy tokens function. And we'll say, sorry. Let's say, whenever we do this, we want to do a similar thing. We want to, hide the content. Hide, and we want the loader to show. And yeah, let's do that for now. We'll say, the number of tokens. We'll read this from the form. I'll show you that. That is here. Number of tokens, that's the input. I'll actually just copy this to make sure there's no typos. Oh, there was a typo. Number of token. Let's actually make that tokens. Okay, we'll get that value. And we will, interact with our contract and try to create a transaction. We do that just like we did in our tests. We say app.contracts, Dapp token, token sale, deployed, and then function, instance, and we'll say return instance by tokens. And we'll say the number of tokens that we declared here. And we'll pass some other things to this. We'll say, we'll give some metadata, right? This is what we kind of did in our test in the console. We'll say from app account. We'll say value. This would be number of tokens. Times app.token price. So remember, we want to send the amount of ether expressed in way. So we take the number of tokens times the token price, which we set here. And we also read that from the contract. That's the default value, but we updated this whenever the contract loaded. And we'll specify the gas limit. Say, sorry. We'll do this as a default value for now. And then we'll get the result. And we'll just say console log tokens bought. Now let's see if this works. If it does, let's reset the form. Oops, trigger. This might not work, but we'll try it. And yeah, let's try to show this. We'll hide the loader and show the content. Okay. So we also need to tell our form to call this function whenever it submits. So we can just go to our form here and do that like this. We can just tell it to call that function on submit. And I'll say on submit app dot buy tokens, and we'll prevent the default behavior here by returning false. Okay. So let's we'll try that. There's a step that we skipped, but I just want to make sure we have no compilation errors here. We'll try to go to this account, make sure we're connected with the right one. We'll try to buy a token. It's not going to work, I don't think, because we skipped a step, which I'll highlight. All right, invalid number of arguments into the solidity function. So let's see what we missed there. Well, first of all, we need to migrate. Let's do truffle, migrate, reset. All right, let's run the server. So I buy tokens. All right, still telling us that we have an invalid number of arguments. So let's see why. All right, so it looks like the error here is because I called the wrong thing. It should be number of tokens. All right, number of tokens here, 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 and here. So we'll try that again. Save that. Go back to our project, and let's just ensure that we actually have like a MetaMask confirmation. You know, if I click this and it works, I expect MetaMask to pop up and ask me to confirm this transaction. All right, so it did. Yeah, so see, it got our gas that we specified in the metadata. And let's try to submit. It's not going to work, I don't think, so let's try. All right, so this looks like a new error, which is what we expect. All right, this is a revert. Now, why is this reverting? So let's go back to our contract that we developed. So here, contracts, token sale, buy tokens. So we want this to revert if the token contract balance is, you know, not, if the number of tokens is bigger, then we want it to, we want to require that the balance is bigger than the number of tokens. So we just said we want to buy, you know, one Dapp token, but guess what? Our token contract doesn't actually have any. And remember, in our test suite, we actually had to, you know, provision some tokens to the, you know, to the actual token sale contract, and that's what we need to do here, right? Okay, so this is actually a setup step for the app that you'll have to perform if you want to purchase any tokens we actually need to, provision some tokens to the token sale contract. So we'll do that manually with the console. Let's go here. Let's open a new tab. Okay, let's do Truffle console. We can get the token sale like this. Void, then function. Let's say I token sale equals I. All right, and then we can get the token. All right. So what we want to do, just like our test, is move some tokens from the to the token sale instance, right? So basically, we want to say transfer some tokens to this address, and this is going to be the number of tokens available, which you want to be 750,000. So we'll actually add this to our console as well. Tokens available. All right. And let's see here. Where did we do this? We'll transfer the token sale instance address, tokens available, and we'll do it from the admin. So we'll say admin here equals web3.eth.accounts 0. Okay. And we'll do this. So we'll say token transfer. And we'll say token sale address. We'll do the tokens available, which we just set here. And we'll say from admin. All right. So that looks like that was successful. We can check by going back to our token sale site and going back to our admin account to see if they, had any tokens subtracted. They started with 1 million. We expect to see, 250,000 at this point. Refresh. Boom, that's exactly what we expect. So it successfully transferred the tokens out of the admin's account into the token sale. We can see, token balance of, let's see, token sale address. Yep, 750,000. So that worked. So now let's try to buy some tokens with our other account. We'll switch to account 2. And let's just try to buy 1 token. So we'll say buy tokens. Oops, that didn't work. Unknown address, unable to sign transaction to this address. Okay, so this is an issue that happens sometimes with MetaMask. Let's see if it happens again. I might have to restart Chrome. Oh, that worked. I just refreshed. Sometimes you have to change networks or restart Chrome. It's kind of a known issue. It's a little bit of a pain, but it is what it is. So I'm going to try to submit this. Submit. All right, it's like tokens were bought. Let's see if we can refresh. All right, so I just refreshed one more time, and this took a second, but yeah, we can see that the it actually worked. We have 1 Dapp token. All right, so I just did that again, and we can see we can buy another token. So at this point, we have to refresh our page in order to see the updates, but we don't want to do that. So let's actually build that out as well. And now the last thing we want to do is refresh the page whenever whenever our contract is updated. We want to see these tokens update. So I just bought another token. That's why this is 3. So if I buy, if I submit this form, I want to wait till the contract's updated. When it's done, I want to see all the data. So what we're going to do is use this event that we created in the token sale. We want to watch for the sell event. And we'll do that like this. Whenever the sell event is triggered, after a successful sale, here's where we want to update our client. Let's go into app.js and we'll create a new function. We'll say, I'll do it here, above render. So I'll minimize these so we can see. And we'll call this listen for events. Let's be, list for events emitted from the contract. And sorry, this be a function. My tab to completion is not really working. So what we'll do inside here is say, app dot contracts Dapp token sale deployed, just like we do every other time. Then then function. We'll say instance, and we'll say instance. We're going to watch the sell event, and we're going to pass an empty object because we don't want to filter anything. I'm not really going to get into the details of that, but just know that that's not what we want to do. And we will say that we want to watch from block 0 to block latest. All right. And we want to say whenever that's done, we want to watch this. Function error, and we want to console log an event triggered, and we want to re-render the page. Now this is like the main part is whenever the sell event's triggered, we want to reload everything. That's why it's kind of like one of the reasons we created this big old render function. Okay. So what we'll do is also take out this. You don't need this anymore. We'll actually just set that here. No, sorry, we do need that. My fault. We're going to take it out of buy tokens. We just don't really want to do anything here. We just want to wait for an event to be triggered. Well, specifically, we'll say wait for sell event. All right. We'll save that and go back to our browser. Loading. And let's, uh-oh, did I mess something up? Yeah, looks like I did that in the wrong place. Sorry. Let's copy that and undo. Keep that there. Sorry, this is inside the render function. We want to go down to the buy tokens function and take that out here. We'll say wait for sell event. All right, so we'll refresh. Let's buy 100 tokens. Feeling lucky. Let's buy 100 tokens and see what happens. All right, we'll submit. Oh, wait. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. All right, so I'm still waiting. I'm stuck in a waiting loop. That's because we didn't actually listen for this event. We want to take this listen for event function, and we want to call it here. So before we, initialize our contracts, we're going to do app.listen for events. You all are getting all of the fun experiences of developing something in real time. This is kind of how this whole process works. It's good to know how to catch your own errors, though. Okay, so we'll go back here and refresh. Deployed, undefined. So it looks like we made a mistake in our function. Let's see here, listen for events. Dapp token sale. App.contracts. Let's copy this. We need to do this after we initialize our contracts, actually. Let's do it here. Okay. So yeah, we're doing this inside the init contracts function, not the init web3. Or yeah, that's my fault. Save that. Go back here. All right, some transaction history. We'll clear that out, and let's try to buy some tokens and see if it works. Let's buy 5,000. No, let's do 500. All right, boom! It refreshed on its own. Now that's working. All right, guys, so that's really it as far as the client-side application goes. That's full app.js code and index.html file of our token sale website where we can buy tokens and see the number of tokens sold and the number of tokens that we've actually purchased. We can see our balance of tokens and our account. So yeah, this is a fully functioning ICO website that we've built locally. So congratulations if you've watched me code this whole thing up to this point. Extra kudos to you. I hope that was helpful. Let's go ahead and commit everything that we've got. I'm going to, before I commit anything, I'm actually going to add a git ignore file so that we don't commit all of our node modules, which would be a nightmare. So let's do touch.git ignore. Again, if you're unfamiliar with this, this just tells Git which files to ignore. And we'll say node modules. All right, we'll save that. And let's see, git status. Now you can see that this number has reduced greatly from this number. And I'll see git log. And we'll say git add dot git commit m. We'll say 5 front end. All right. So that's good, guys. That's everything you really need to develop a token sale website locally. If you'd like to see more and subscribe to the channel so you can see the next videos where we're actually going to get this token sale website off of our local machine and onto a web server, and we'll also deploy the smart contracts to a test network. So we'll have a fully functioning token sale website that's deployed out in the wild that you can show. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can see those videos when they come out. And until then, thanks for watching Dapp University.